Hi, everybody. So it's Friday evening, and like every other normal person does on a Friday evening, I'm here to talk to you about Ouija boards. So fun, right? Um, so I think Ouija boards get a bit of a bad rap. The paranormal world is like generally split down the middle about if they're good or bad, what they do exactly, if they open portals, if they don't open portals. Um, so I lean towards them just being another tool, like all of the other tools that we use, but I like to learn the history of the things that we use and like where they came from and why we are using them and what the deal is. So I thought it would be fun to share some of the history of the Ouija board with you guys because it is really fascinating. So the Ouija board was originally made by these people that made board games, and it was made in like February of 1891. And it was born in the time where people were all about like all of this spiritualism stuff. They were obsessed with communicating with the dead, and this was something that was like considered totally normal. People would go on Saturday night and have seances and like try and contact the dead, and then Sunday morning they would get up and go to church. This wasn't like something that was considered evil or devil worship or bad in any way. It was just the way that things were then. So it's kind of interesting how the times have changed. So when the Ouija board was made, it was made out of kind of impatience. So back then, when people wanted to communicate with the dead, they did things like seances, and they would say the letters of the alphabet and wait for a knock response to spell out words. And as you can imagine, going through the alphabet over and over again, waiting for a knock, it takes forever to get the information. So people wanted a faster way, and the Ouija board was born from that want to have a faster way to communicate with spirits, so they weren't spending their entire night spelling out one sentence. So at that time, when they were made, nobody thought anything bad about them. They didn't. They just thought that it was a talking board. I believe it was advertised originally as the wonderful talking board. So, and a really interesting fun fact about the Ouija board is that when they went to get the patent for it, the patent officer said that he would not give them the patent for this game unless they could prove that it worked. So they went in with the board and they sat down, and he asked them to spell out his name, which none of the people applying for the patent should have known. And the board spelled out the name. So there's some speculation that maybe one of the people involved actually did know the name, but who knows, right? So it's very, very interesting. And another interesting fact is that so a lot of people think that the name Ouija board, the name of it came from the word "oui" and "ja" for yes in French and German, but it was actually one of the original investors' sister-in-laws. They were sitting down trying to come up with a name for it, and so they were using it, and they asked it what it should be called, and it spelled out the letters to Ouija, and so they asked what that meant, and it said good luck. So it's kind of ominous, really, but they ran with that, and that's where the name came from. So it's like really interesting. So over the years, there was like some like legal battles with the board and who actually invented it and what happened. But eventually, it was sold to Warner Brothers. And in 1967, the board sold, I believe there was 2 million Ouija boards sold that year. They outsold the Monopoly board game, which is crazy. And now I'm guessing they don't sell nearly as much. So the idea is that you put the planchette, so this is the planchette, and you put it on the board, and you put your fingers gently on it, and you wait for a spirit to communicate with you, and you ask them questions and they answer. And people believe that this particular item may open portals or doorways or gates to hell or negative places. They believe that this is a way for demons to communicate. And so you should never ever touch a board. And there are many very terrifying Ouija board stories online if you look them up. But other people use them as a tool, just like you would use your audio recorder to collect EVP evidence. So it's kind of what you believe in personally, and you have to go with whatever you're comfortable with. I think for myself, I don't use the Ouija board on investigation. Obviously, I own one, but I have not used it since I was a teenager. But I just don't, because I like science, and you can't verify that something is going on with the Ouija board. I would prefer to collect audio or video evidence to using this. But I don't think that it's bad or evil. I think that just like with any kind of spiritual communication tool, you have to properly ground and protect yourself. And as long as you do that, you should be okay. Now, I will say, for everybody that's freaking out right now, you should err on the side of caution. And if you don't feel 100% safe and haven't done your research, and you're not grounded, and you're not spiritually protected, and you're not experienced with using these kind of tools, you should stay away from them until you have the experience and the knowledge and the know-how to safely use them. But when I was a teenager, I used the Ouija board many times. I never had a bad experience. And so I don't know. But I know that some people have. And yeah, I guess you have to be careful with them. But they're really cool. And I think that if you want to use one, make sure that you know what you're doing, and see what kind of results you can get. But always be protected, be safe, be careful, and definitely let me know if you have used a Ouija board and had any kind of crazy experiences, because I would love to hear about them. And if you have any questions about the Ouija board, the history, or spiritually protecting yourself, if you want to use one, or any questions at all, just send a comment or a message, let me know, and I will answer to the best of my ability. I hope that this has been helpful, and yeah, hope you enjoyed my video. And if you have ideas for other subjects that you would like me to cover, just let me know, because I'm very interested in all things spiritual and paranormal. So I really like to research these things and learn about them, and I would love to share my knowledge with everybody. So yeah, let me know. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good Friday night. Bye.